in excess of $760 million a year and growing. Our products are high volume, high margin, single-use disposables. Our first product is a pipette tip, a functional pipette tip, which we're currently selling to a very receptive market. For those that may not know what a pipette tip is, it's basically a molded straw, if you will. It's used to move liquids between different positions in a chemical reaction. We're now seeking additional capital to grow the business, to increase the company valuation. I've listed here our anticipated sales and earnings. We expect to be profitable and net cash flow, positive cash flow in the second half of 2011 and achieve modest market share in 2012 and 2013 when we expect an exit event will take place. Now some more of the details. We're well positioned in the growing life science industry, what's called the gene, genome, and genetic segment. And within that segment, people do several things. They extract DNA from a cell, they purify that DNA, and then they either use it for cloning, for example, or analyze it for diagnostic purposes in any one of a number of research, medical, or industrial applications. The segment that we participate in, which is the extraction purification piece, currently has over 700 million extractions or purifications performed per year. And in those processes, people use pipette tips. They're used by virtually all 390,000 professionals around the world working in about 45,000 laboratories. The products that are currently used today are represented by three distinct technologies. Whoops. I've just lost my, no, here it goes. Each row is a technology that involves multiple products. I've listed several of the products and the competitors below each of the major technologies. All these have one thing in common. They start with a dirty sample, they end with a clean sample. But between those 2 points, there's a moderate number of complex mechanical chemical processes that use additional reagents, additional pipette tips, additional tubes, a lot of time, a lot of skill to get to the clean sample. What we do is we take, as you'll see in a few moments, all of this functionality and put it into a single pipette tip. So what the end user sees is the pipette tip they use to pick up a dirty sample, they just go right past all of this and dispense the clean sample into a clean vessel. All that functionality is in a single pipette tip. The technology part of our solution is this. We can configure a surface to simultaneously absorb certain types of molecules and repel others. Differential affinity is where our company name comes from. It's meant to encapsulate this chemical capability. We can configure a surface to differentiate between molecules such as their structure, their size. There's an enormous span of applications. We're focusing first, our low-hanging fruit, on nucleic acid isolation, which is non-regulated. It has the subsegments of purification or extraction. We can also develop a molecular diagnostic assay and others as well. In our first application, which I'll show you in a moment, we basically configure a surface to remove the impurities used to amplify DNA, but allow the amplified DNA of interest to pass freely through. We also have IP in the area of consumable designs, methods of use, methods of manufacturing. The product design aspect of our solution is, as I said before, a pipette tip. We put a particle retainer at the large end, a second porous particle retainer at the small end. Our chemistry goes in the middle. We aspirate a dirty sample. The impurities stick to the proprietary chemistry. We dispense the sample out. The impurities remain stuck to the particles, which remain in the pipette tip. You're left with a purified sample. It's one step, 1 minute, one pipette tip. We eliminate a lot of reaction vessels, reagents, and a great deal of time. We're about an order of magnitude faster than the current products that are on the market. The market for us is about, as I mentioned before, about $750 million. If you add to that, and this is homebrew kits, this box has 96 pipette tips, which is considered a kit capable of purifying 96 samples. So that's what a kit is. The market for manual kits is about $750 million. If you add to that the automated and homebrew markets, it's over $1 billion. Our first product focus is in the area of PCR cleanup, or cleaning up the chemical reactions that are used to amplify DNA. We'll be introducing follow-on products in the later part of this year. And then our second focus is going to be on additional purification, in this case plasmids, and extraction of DNA from host cells. The technology in the market's been validated a number of different ways. Probably the most important is that we've announced our product about a month ago, and we've got 1,600 requests for samples. It's a try-buy business model, so we give people a sample pack of 8 samples. They like them, they buy the product. We have 2 people working nearly full-time on closing those leads with sales. We've also gotten grants, over $900,000 from the NIH. They like the technology. They've paid us to bring it to market. We've also got very favorable reviews from some very world-class sites, and these are some of the quotes that I've listed here. But in general, customers and technology experts overwhelmingly approve the product. Our business model is quite simple. We are manufacturing internally, contracting out parts of that, and we are direct selling. In parallel, we're negotiating, and our term sheets being exchanged as I speak, agreements with companies that have the worldwide product distribution, sales, and marketing rights to the product so we can realize the full potential of our technology. The model is that we will cede to them exclusive rights only when they reach certain minimum performance targets. I don't want to be in a position where I'm hoping today's the day the royalty check shows up. We're in control of our destiny. These partners, there's a great deal of interest are expressed. There's interest been expressed in acquiring the company, but we think it's a little bit too early for that. But our goal is to sell the business in 2 or 3 years. The molecular diagnostic applications are harder. We think it's better to partner with companies who are better suited to bring those technologies to market, and we plan to do that through license agreements and establish an ongoing royalty stream. As resources permit, we expect to look at additional applications of our technology outside of the life science application. Having developed our first product, we've made investments that now have in place the technologies, the product designs, and manufacturing processes that can be leveraged into new products. While new products are never easy, for us now, it's not about scientific development, but more about engineering, marketing, and sales. With these platforms in place, we think we're in a great position with a relatively modest investment to grow the business out and substantially increase our revenue and earnings. Our product portfolio is in place, many key proofs of feasibility, very comprehensive IP portfolio, a very capable and motivated management team, as well as administrative tools like product quality systems, e-commerce systems are all in place right now. This is our team. In my previous company, I did 8-digit deals with Boston Scientific and Medtronic. Louis Rothberg, who's in the audience, is our CTO, co-founder, inventor, is still very actively involved in the business. Robin Hodown is our VP of Sales and Marketing, a long history of triple-digit sales growth with the companies he's been involved in. You heard Rick Richmond earlier. He's a co-founder of the company. He's also advisor. Rick most recently sold STS Biopolymers to Angiotech for $21 million and a $1.5 million raise. Very capable molecular biologist in the form of Randa Gaborski, who's our program manager, very senior director of manufacturing, and Tom Jensen, Six Sigma expert. Other scientists, several law firms depend upon the nature of the legal question being asked, and many subject matter experts that we engage as necessary. Our raise, we're seeking a target of $750,000, a minimum of $500,000, maximum of $1 million, a pre-money valuation of $5 million. Earlier today, there was a discussion in this building among investors that said it's not a good idea to put a valuation on a presentation like this. What I will respectfully submit is that if you look at our earnings, if you want to cut them in half, and we don't think it's going to happen, if you want to add a few more years to them because things just take longer, and we don't think they will, but if you do all that, based upon this valuation, we're still offering returns in excess of traditional VC levels. So we would encourage you to do that due diligence. We'd be very happy to talk about any part of this you like. Also, our history has been that for every dollar of investment we've taken in, we've matched it with more than $1 of non-dilutive money from the NIH, from government grants, from state incentives, federal incentives. The climate's very good right now. Well, we believe we're going to continue that. There's options for additional grants, additional therapeutic program savings back to the company, funding from our partners who we're talking to that want to put in $250,000 for a right to sell the product. We think in the face of all that, we'll continue our tradition of matching investor dollars at least dollar for dollar, which gives you great leverage. Use the investment, very simple, grow the business out. Introduce new products, grow sales and earnings, negotiate an exit. I've listed here some of the major activities. These are pretty typical, but what I'll say in my last comment is that these are all being managed with a traditional phase and gate process using traditional project planning tools.